This revision part of the slides contains the main intention towards entity relationship diagrams. So here we will much more emphasize on entities, followed by relations. So here is an example towards an ER model. So we have entity relationship models, object relation models, etc. So first we will be talking about this ER diagrams. Here we mix the entities with one called as an entity, two called as an entity set. Employees is going to be called as an entity set here, and SSN name lot, we call them as an attributes. And if I'm going to call it as an employees E1 and E2, so this property we call entity set, and E1 and E2, they are sharing the same primitives of the entity set. So at this point of time, they are going to be called as an entities. So all entities in the entity set will have the same attribute. That is, it can be E1.SSN, it can be E2.name, or again it can be event.elwood. So the same attributes which are in the base class can be given to the objects which are calling it. In the same model, we have the employees ER diagram, and its attributes are going to be shared. Every entity set is going to have a key. Yeah, here we are going to assume SSN as a key. Then every attribute is going to have a domain. Domain is nothing but giving a range. So range in sense, if I am going to give minimum value and maximum value. If I give an age between 18 to 25. So minimum was 18, maximum was 25. So now we get this range. So that is where we are going to fix up a domain. So now we had an ER diagram, then we need to identify the relationship among such entities. So what type of relationship, or how a relationship is going to be associated, which form of relationship is there, etc., is going to be taken up. So that is where the relationship, which it is going to pull up some collection of some relational entities, etc. So now worksin is going to be called as a relationship, and as it is going to use with an attribute, now it is going to be called as a relationship set. Employees, they are going to call it as entity set. Department is also called as an entity set. Now we have these as an attributes, and we create an entity so that we can use E1, E2 or department aliases D and D1 and D2. In this model, we are going to build up the ER diagrams. While building up a ER diagrams, there is a way what we need to consider. We call it as self loop. We call it as self loop. So assume there is a triangle A, B and C. Now if I am going to make a relation A to a path, now this element we call it as self loop. Similarly, in an ER diagram, we have to mention up a roles. We have to mention up a roles. So HOD is a role, professor is a role, associate professor is a role, assistant professor is a role. So these elements we call it as role, or they are going to put it in a relation called as report. Now assume the professor, the associate professor, the assistant professor, they are going to report to HOD. They are going to report to HOD. Now HOD, he is going to be called as supervisor, and rest of the three roles what we are going to talk, we call it as subordinates. Okay. So up to now we had clarity about the roles. So all the roles, HOD, professor, associate and assistant professor, they are all the employees. Everyone has a SSN, everyone has name, everyone has LOD. And professor reports to HOD, associate professor reports to HOD, assistant professor reports to HOD, and he reports to himself. He reports to himself. What we call it as a self loop. That means head of the department teaches classes to the second year, third year, final year. His subordinates also teaches classes to second year, third year, final year. Head of the department works for the department. His subordinates also work for the department. So subordinates are reporting to him, and he is reporting to himself. What this loop we call as? We call such an element as a self. Now, in the ER diagrams, when we bring up key constraints, there are ways where we need to put up the relations. So when we talk about key constraints, then it should be not null or a unique or a primary key, or a foreign key, or a candidate key, etc., super key, whatever we call. So now we have set of some key constraints. How are these key constraints maintained? How are these key constraints maintained? Means they are maintained in form of relations. What are those relations? They can be one-to-one, they can be one-to-many, they can be many-to-one, or they can be many-to-many. In these four forms, the key constraints are going to be taken up. Now, here is an example where SSN is going to be the primary key in the employee table. Department ID is going to be the primary key. Now we need to say that some employee works in some department, right? We do have EEE department, we do have EC department, we do have CSE department or an IT department. So there is an employee, he can work in any one. He can work in any one department. He can work in any one department. So how long he is going to work? That is another condition. Now, we do have an employee, we do have a department, and how long he is going to work is to be maintained. So how long he is to be maintained. Therefore, department ID should be coming to the relationship set, and there it is going to be called as a foreign key. In the native table, it is going to be called as a primary key. When it is going to be brought up to the works in relation, it is going to be called here as a. When we are going to work with a key constraint, we need to work with foreign keys, or next comes the participation constraints. Next comes the word called as participation constraints. So let us take another example at a college level so that it will be understand to you. So there is an employee with an ID called as 801, and he was the head of the department from 2012 to 2018. Assume there was another employee called as an HOD, then he is going to work with as an HOD from 2018 to 2021. Now you can see this scenario. One person, he is going to be in the role of a HOD for some period of time. Another person was in the role of a HOD for some period of time. But the agenda was how long he has managed the department. How long he has managed the department. So when I'm going to call it as 801, then it comes with 6 years. When I'm going to call it as 802, then it is going to come for 3 years. So every department must have a manager and only one. So every department has to be taken up with a manager, and he should manage his employees, and always a manager he is going to be only one. Then in such a case, we are going to call it as a participation constraint. So in participation constraint, 801 he is managed for some time. From next onwards, he is going to be a general employee. 802 he is managing from 2018 to 2021. He is also an employee. Assume some 2008-03, now he became head of the department and he came in 2021. Now what else? So again, 1, 2, 3, they are going to be part of an employees. So there is no other from the outside, but the person is going to manage the department. So how we are going to put this into practice was, we are changing the ER diagram. We are changing the ER diagram. So at this point of time, we are going to make with a bold line. We are going to bring this with a bold line, that too with a darken arrow. That too we are going to bring it with a darken arrow. Next word was, we call it as weak entities. Next element to take care was, we have to call it as a weak entities. So in this weak entity, dollar connecting. So, let us put this relation that it can be identified uniquely by considering the primary key of another entity or another owner entity. Okay. Let us assume my ID was 603. Let us assume my SSN was 603 and I am working for the organization. And I am working for an organization and I role as an. Now I have my dependent. I have my dependents. Dependents are nothing but the spouse or dependents something but or dependents something but the children. Now, as I work or as I am treated as an employee, my dependents will also get the benefits of a policy because I am going to have a policy, a group insurance policy. So I get the benefits and my dependents will get the benefits. I get the benefits and my dependents also will get the benefits of the group insurance policy. Okay. First condition is now, if of the organization, no. Are my children employees of this organization? No. Then why we have put them into? Are going to be my dependents. Therefore, if I get a group insurance policy benefits, they will also will get the benefits of the group insurance, which we are going to call this scenario in darker boxes and arrow marks, which we are going to put them in darker boxes and which we are going to put them in darker arrow marks. And second thing, I have my SSN. I have my SSN, but my dependents are identified only with their P name. Dependents are identified with their only with their P name. Next. Condition number 2. Why they are weak? Why they are weak here? Because if I leave the organization, I will be removed from employer. Therefore, my dependents will no longer exist. Therefore,